The royal family is preparing for what insiders are calling the most spectacular American invasion since 1776. Only this time, the British are coming with champagne flutes instead of muskets. Multiple sources have now confirmed that King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Kate, and possibly even the 3 young Wales children are all planning separate visits to American soil throughout 2026, transforming the nation's 250th birthday celebration into a full-scale Windsor family reunion on foreign territory. The plans are nothing short of extraordinary. According to reports from Page 6 and The Sun, King Charles and Queen Camilla have received a personal invitation from President Donald Trump for a lavish state visit to Washington, D.C. in late April. Palace insiders describe the upcoming trip as a major moment in the anniversary celebrations, with negotiations already underway for what promises to be one of the most significant royal visits in modern history. The king, despite his ongoing battle with an undisclosed form of cancer, is reportedly determined to make the transatlantic journey, though sources confirm his health will be monitored closely in the weeks leading up to the planned trip. But that is merely the opening act. The real spectacle comes in July, when Prince William and Princess Kate are expected to touch down on American soil to mark the actual anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Sources close to the situation reveal that the Prince and Princess of Wales will join the historic July 4th festivities, representing the crown at what promises to be the largest celebration in United States history. One well-placed insider told Page 6 that they are hoping all the senior royals will come over, adding that this is going to be a huge year for both the United States and the United Kingdom. And here is where it gets truly fascinating. Reports are now emerging that Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis may accompany their parents on what would be their very first trip to America. With the FIFA World Cup also taking place across North America in 2026, sources suggest that William hopes to bring his entire family to watch matches, combining the historic July 4th celebrations with the sporting event. The prospect of the future king and his young heirs experiencing American culture firsthand has royal watchers buzzing with anticipation. The timing could not be more symbolic. In 1776, America declared its independence from the British crown. 250 years later, that same crown is being welcomed back with open arms, state banquets, and presidential invitations. The irony is delicious, and palace strategists are fully aware of the optics. This visit represents an opportunity to strengthen the special relationship between two nations, while simultaneously showcasing the enduring appeal of the British monarchy on the world stage. But as preparations intensify on both sides of the Atlantic, one glaring absence has become impossible to ignore. Despite living in California, despite technically being members of the royal family, despite everything they sacrificed to build their American dream, 2 people have been deliberately, systematically, and very publicly left off every guest list. While the rest of the royal family prepares for their triumphant American tour, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will be watching from the sidelines, uninvited and unwelcome at the very celebrations unfolding in their adopted homeland. The snub is breathtaking in its completeness, a calculated humiliation that sources say has left the Sussexes reeling behind the walls of their Montecito mansion. Page 6 has confirmed what many suspected would happen the moment these royal visits were announced. A source described as being in the know delivered the devastating verdict without hesitation, stating plainly that obviously the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are not working royals, so they will not be invited to any celebrations. The insider twisted the knife further by adding that any invitation would have to come at the behest of the royal family themselves, and that invitation, it seems clear, will never arrive. The geography of this exclusion makes it almost unbearably awkward. When King Charles touches down in Washington, D.C. for his April state visit, Harry and Meghan will be sitting approximately 2,500 miles away in California. When William and Kate arrive for the July 4th celebrations, the distance shrinks dramatically. The Sussexes will be mere hours from their estranged relatives, close enough to feel the reverberations of every champagne toast and camera flash, yet completely frozen out of the festivities. Insiders suggest the decision to exclude the Sussexes was never really a decision at all. It was simply understood from the moment these visits began taking shape. After everything that has transpired since their dramatic exit in 2020, after the explosive Oprah interview, the Netflix documentary, the publication of Spare, and countless other perceived betrayals, the royal family has drawn an invisible line that Harry and Meghan cannot cross. They made their choice. One palace source allegedly remarked to a British tabloid, and now they must live with the consequences. The cruelty lies in the details. While Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis potentially experience their first American adventure, their cousins Archie and Lilibet will remain invisible, unacknowledged by the very institution that grants them their princely and princess titles. While William and Kate bask in presidential hospitality, Harry and Meghan will scroll through headlines documenting every glittering moment they were denied access to witness. Some royal watchers speculate that the Sussexes could attempt their own parallel appearances during the celebration period, manufacturing photo opportunities and media moments to compete with the official royal visit. But such desperate measures would only underscore how far they have fallen. There was a time when Harry stood beside his brother at state functions, when Meghan charmed world leaders alongside Kate. Those days feel like ancient history now. The message from Buckingham Palace could not be clearer. You wanted out, so you are out. You wanted independence, so here is what independence truly looks like. And as the rest of the family prepares for one of the most significant royal tours in decades, Harry and Meghan face the stark reality that they have become strangers in their own story. If there was any doubt about where President Donald Trump stands on the Harry and Meghan question, he obliterated it with a single devastating quote that ricocheted around the world. When asked by the New York Post whether he intended to deport Prince Harry over his admitted drug use, Trump delivered a response so brutal it practically drew blood. "I do not want to do that," the president said. "I will leave him alone. He has got enough problems with his wife. She is terrible." Those 3 words landed like a bomb in Montecito. She is terrible. Not a diplomatic sidestep, not a carefully worded non-answer, but a direct, unfiltered attack on the Duchess of Sussex from the most powerful man in the world. For a woman who has spent years cultivating her image as a humanitarian, entrepreneur, and global icon, being dismissed as terrible by the American president represented a new low in her already complicated relationship with public perception. But Trump's disdain for Meghan stretches back nearly a decade, long before she ever met her prince. In 2016, when Trump was merely a candidate, Meghan called him a misogynist and divisive during an interview. She even joked about moving to Canada if he won. Trump has never forgotten those words, and he has never forgiven them. When asked about her comments before a 2019 presidential visit to the United Kingdom, Trump shot back with his now infamous assessment. "I did not know she was nasty," he told reporters, setting the tone for years of hostility to come. The contrast between how Trump treats the Sussexes versus the rest of the royal family could not be more stark. During his September 2025 state visit to Windsor Castle, the president lavished praise on Prince William, calling him a remarkable son and predicting he would have an unbelievable success in the future. He gushed over Princess Kate, describing her as radiant, healthy, and beautiful. King Charles received the full treatment of presidential flattery, with Trump declaring the visit one of the highest honors of his life. Harry received nothing. Not a mention, not an acknowledgement, not even a backhanded compliment. The spare had become invisible. Trump has also repeatedly called Harry whipped, suggesting the prince is completely controlled by his wife. "Poor Harry is being led around by the nose," Trump told the New York Post, painting a picture of a once proud royal reduced to a puppet dancing on Meghan's strings. It is a characterization that has gained traction among Sussex critics, reinforcing the narrative that Harry sacrificed everything for a woman who may never truly appreciate his losses. The implications for 2026 are obvious. With Trump personally inviting King Charles for a state visit and rolling out the red carpet for William and Kate, the Sussexes face a political landscape that is actively hostile to their presence. They are not merely uninvited, they are unwanted by the very administration that will host their relatives in grand style. September 2025 should have been just another royal event, another state visit to file away in the historical record. Instead, it became a masterclass in public humiliation, a glittering spectacle that allegedly left Harry and Meghan feeling betrayed as they watched from 3,000 miles away. Trump's triumphant return to British soil did not merely exclude the Sussexes, it actively erased them from the narrative of their own family. The pageantry was extraordinary. Trump and First Lady Melania arrived to the largest guard of honor in living memory, with 120 horses and 1,300 troops assembled to welcome the American president. Carriage rides through Windsor, an air show overhead, and a state banquet at Windsor Castle that dripped with centuries of royal tradition. King Charles personally extended the invitation, and the entire senior royal family turned out to ensure the visit would be remembered for generations. Prince William greeted Trump when Air Force One touched down, setting the tone for what would become a love fest between the president and the heir to the throne. Princess Kate stood radiant beside her husband, earning repeated compliments from Trump throughout the visit. At the state banquet, the president sat beside Kate, reportedly mistaking her for Queen Camilla at one point, but recovering with characteristic Trump bravado by praising her beauty even more effusively. And then came the speech. Standing before the assembled dignitaries, Trump delivered remarks that would slice through Montecito like a blade. "I just want to say that His Majesty has also raised a remarkable son in His Royal Highness Prince of Wales," the president declared. "Really amazing." The room applauded, the cameras flashed, and somewhere in California, sources suggest, 2 people felt the weight of that singular noun. Son, not sons, just one remarkable son worth mentioning. The omission was surgical. Trump did not stumble over Harry's name or awkwardly avoid the subject. He simply pretended the Duke of Sussex did not exist, reducing the king's family to a single heir and erasing 5 years of Sussex drama with the efficiency of a royal historian scrubbing an embarrassing footnote. Insiders reportedly told commentator Rob Schechter that Harry and Meghan were stunned by the entire display. One source allegedly revealed that watching the family laugh along felt like betrayal. The pomp, the handshakes, the compliments, to them it looked like bowing down to a man who has openly insulted them for years. The accusation carries weight. Trump has called Meghan terrible and nasty, He has suggested Harry should be deported. He has mocked their marriage publicly and repeatedly. Yet there was the royal family, raising glasses and exchanging pleasantries with their tormentor. For Harry especially, the optics must have been excruciating. His father, his brother, his sister-in-law, all smiling alongside a man who has made degrading his wife something of a personal hobby. Whatever fragile hope remained for reconciliation allegedly took another devastating blow that September evening as the chandeliers sparkled and the champagne flowed at Windsor Castle. While Harry and Meghan spiral through crisis after crisis, Prince William and Princess Kate have emerged as the undisputed victors in the transatlantic popularity contest. Their stock has never been higher, their relationship with the American political establishment never warmer, and their position as the future of the monarchy never more secure. The contrast with the struggling Sussexes is almost painful to witness. The bond between the Waleses and the Trumps has blossomed into something approaching genuine friendship, a development that would have seemed unthinkable just a few years ago. When Trump landed in the United Kingdom for his September state visit, it was William who greeted him on the tarmac, extending the hand of the crown before the president had even cleared customs. The gesture spoke volumes about where power truly resides within the royal family, and who the Americans should be cultivating relationships with. But it was Kate who truly captured Trump's attention. The president could barely contain his admiration for the Princess of Wales, calling her radiant, healthy, and beautiful during his public remarks. Sources close to the visit suggest Trump was genuinely charmed by Kate's grace and composure, a stark departure from his venomous assessment of her sister-in-law. One could almost hear the comparison hanging in the air. This is what a princess should be. This is how royalty should conduct itself. The relationship extends beyond mere state formalities. When William traveled to Paris in December for the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral, Trump made a special point of meeting with the prince privately. The encounter signaled that the incoming administration viewed William as a serious figure on the world stage, someone worth cultivating before he even assumes the throne. Meanwhile, Harry was reduced to making jokes on late-night television, his relevance diminishing with every passing news cycle. Kate has also forged her own connection with Melania Trump, with the two women sharing a joint engagement during the state visit that observers described as warm and friendly. A Kensington Palace source revealed that they were chatting away and both really enjoyed the engagement. The image of Kate and Melania bonding stands in sharp contrast to Meghan's increasingly isolated position, a woman who once dreamed of conquering American high society but now finds herself frozen out of its most exclusive circles. Royal commentators have noted that William and Kate have played the long game perfectly. While Harry and Meghan grabbed headlines with explosive interviews and tell-all memoirs, the Waleses quietly built relationships, maintained dignity, and positioned themselves as the adults in the room. The strategy has paid dividends beyond anything the palace could have anticipated. Americans who once viewed the royals with mild curiosity now actively embrace William and Kate as symbols of stability and class. The 2026 visits will only cement this triumph. As William and Kate celebrate Independence Day with American dignitaries, they will be demonstrating that the monarchy can evolve, can charm, and can remain relevant. Harry and Meghan offered chaos. William and Kate offered grace. America has made its choice. Behind the gates of their $14 million Montecito mansion, sources paint a picture of Prince Harry that is far removed from the confident rebel who once walked away from royal life with his head held high. Reports suggest the Duke of Sussex is struggling, increasingly isolated, and haunted by the growing suspicion that he may have made the biggest mistake of his life. British tabloids have reported extensively on Harry's alleged homesickness, describing a man who misses his family, his friends, and the country he once called home. The California dream that seemed so intoxicating in 2020 has reportedly curdled into something far more complicated. Former staffers have painted a picture of a household in turmoil, with one insider infamously describing Meghan as a dictator in high heels and alleging a toxic work environment that left employees needing therapy. Harry's public appearances have done little to quell concerns about his state of mind. His recent appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was meant to be light-hearted promotion, a chance to joke about starring in a fictional Hallmark Christmas movie as the gingerbread prince. Instead, Harry delivered what royal experts are calling a reckless swipe at President Trump, joking about Americans being obsessed with royalty in a manner many interpreted as a dig at the president's relationship with his family. Royal commentator Kinsey Schofield did not mince words about the appearance. Harry's jab at President Trump on Colbert was not clever, it was reckless, she told Fox News Digital. Honestly, how does he think he can hold on to a royal title while taking public swipes at the head of a foreign government? Schofield further noted that the comments were a slap in the face to Buckingham Palace, which had invested significant effort into Trump's state visit to support diplomatic relations. Perhaps most troubling are reports about Harry's desires for his children. The Duke has publicly expressed his wish for Archie and Lilibet to experience schooling in the United Kingdom, a statement that exposed what insiders are calling a potentially fatal schism in the Sussex marriage. Meghan's sources claim has made clear she has no intention of returning to a country she views as hostile to her very existence. The disagreement over where to raise their children allegedly represents a fundamental incompatibility that no amount of couples therapy can bridge. In May, Harry gave a candid interview to the BBC that revealed the depth of his anguish. "I would love reconciliation with my family," he admitted. "There is no point in continuing to fight anymore. I do not know how much longer my father has." The words hung heavy with regret, a public acknowledgement that the scorched earth strategy of recent years may have cost him more than he ever anticipated. Sources previously told People magazine that King Charles was not responding to Harry's calls or letters. The silence from his father, combined with his estrangement from William and his exile from official royal life, has left Harry in a prison of his own making, trapped between a wife who will not leave California and a family that may never forgive him. The Duchess of Sussex has spent years crafting an image as a multimedia mogul, a lifestyle guru, and a force of nature who could conquer any industry she touched. But cracks are appearing in that carefully constructed facade, and insiders suggest the empire Meghan built may be crumbling faster than anyone anticipated. Her recent Harper's Bazaar cover story was meant to herald a triumphant new chapter. Instead, it ignited a firestorm of mockery and criticism that has become all too familiar. Sources told Radar Online that Meghan exerted total editorial control over the piece, with the magazine allegedly caving to her demands about what should be included. One insider delivered a scathing assessment, saying the running joke in the industry now is that Harper's should have credited her as guest editor, subject, and news. The source continued, describing the piece as stomach-turning and sycophantic, claiming it appears to have her handprints over every line. A fashion source offered perhaps the most cutting critique of all, moaning that it is like a Hallmark card Meghan has written to herself. The assessment stung because it reinforced a narrative that has dogged Meghan for years, that she is more interested in controlling her image than connecting with audiences authentically. Then there is the Netflix situation. While the streaming giant publicly announced an extended deal with Archwell Productions, insiders paint a very different picture behind the scenes. Her lifestyle series With Love, Meghan received devastating reviews, with The Guardian giving it 1 star and describing it as vibrating with a vacuous, overstuffed joylessness. The Economist called the show out of touch and questioned Netflix's decision to award Meghan a $100 million deal in the first place. The Christmas special that debuted in early December fared no better. Sources revealed to gossip columnist Rob Shooter that the holiday episode was actually filmed a year ago, dismissed by one insider as leftover footage dressed up in ribbon. A Netflix source allegedly told Shooter that the decision to air repurposed Christmas clips only confirms that the partnership is no longer thriving, delivering the brutal verdict that the message is "we are done." Inside Netflix, sources claim executives are calling the Christmas special the closing credits of Meghan's television ambitions. Season 3 of her lifestyle show reportedly is not even being discussed. One executive allegedly called the holiday special the farewell disguised as a holiday treat, adding that everyone is smiling on the outside, but inside, they know this is the end. Critics savaged the Christmas content with particular venom. The Guardian described Meghan literally skipping through a Christmas tree farm and offering reindeer chow that looked like animal droppings. The Telegraph gave the special 1 star, calling it quite mad and a little bit sad, featuring Meghan making a vegetable crudite wreath out of raw broccoli in desperation. For a woman who staked her post-royal identity on becoming a media powerhouse, the reviews represent more than professional setbacks. They represent an existential threat to the very brand she sacrificed a palace to build. Behind the ancient walls of Buckingham Palace, sources claim something extraordinary is happening. Senior advisors are allegedly drafting contingency plans for a scenario that once seemed unthinkable but now feels increasingly inevitable. The monarchy is quietly preparing for the potential divorce of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. According to highly placed sources who spoke to Women's Day, a confidential blueprint is being developed, a detailed strategic plan for managing the dissolution of the Sussex marriage should it occur. This is not a matter of wishing for it, one insider allegedly explained, but of bracing for the worst-case scenario. For the House of Windsor, preparation is paramount, especially when the potential consequences involve controlling the narrative surrounding a prince who has already authored a scorching memoir and a duchess who holds considerable sway over global media. The palace's greatest fear is a repeat of the 1990s, when Princess Diana's separation from Prince Charles played out across newspaper front pages in excruciating detail. The explosive interviews, the competing narratives, the media circus that damaged the monarchy's reputation for years. Palace strategists are determined not to let history repeat itself. Sources suggest the Sussex divorce plan is modeled on Diana's separation, but with significant modern modifications. One insider revealed that any agreement would feature tighter language and heavier penalties for breaking it. This allegedly means ironclad non-disclosure agreements far more comprehensive than anything previously imposed, with severe financial repercussions tied to any future media ventures, book deals, or documentary projects that touch upon intimate details of their marriage or the inner workings of the royal family. Perhaps most surprisingly, the palace is reportedly prepared to let Meghan keep her Duchess of Sussex title even after a divorce. The calculation is purely strategic. One source explained that the palace considers this a clever move, fearing that removing the title could trigger a media war. A titleless Meghan with her platform and media savvy could become a highly effective adversary, painting herself as a victim stripped of her dignity by a vindictive institution. Royal commentator Dickie Arbiter, former press secretary to the late Queen Elizabeth, noted something curious about how Meghan was announced in her Harper's Bazaar piece. She was repeatedly identified as Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, which Arbiter pointed out is actually the widowed or divorced title, not the proper form for a married duchess. The fact that she is already using this formulation, Arbiter suggested, may be more revealing than anyone realizes. The most dangerous element of any potential split involves Harry's stated desire to return to the United Kingdom while Meghan remains determined to stay in California. Sources describe this as a potentially fatal schism, transforming any divorce from a private matter into a high-stakes negotiation involving residency, titles, and most critically, the custody of the king's grandchildren. The palace's strategy must account for both eventualities, whether Meghan walks away or Harry comes crawling home. Either way, Buckingham Palace intends to be ready. The monarchy has survived worse, but has Harry? In the midst of royal feuds, media warfare, and transatlantic tensions, two innocent souls remain trapped in a situation they never asked for and cannot possibly understand. Prince Archie, now 5 years old, and Princess Lilibet, just 3, have become pawns in a game being played by adults who should know better. And as 2026 approaches, the contrast between their lives and those of their royal cousins grows more heartbreaking by the day. While Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis potentially prepare for their first ever American adventure, complete with World Cup matches and July 4th celebrations alongside their parents, Archie and Lilibet remain isolated in Montecito. They hold the titles of Prince and Princess. They are 6th and 7th in line to the throne respectively. Yet they have been raised almost entirely outside the royal framework, strangers to the institution that grants them their status, and to the extended family that should have embraced them. King Charles has made no secret of his desire to know his California grandchildren better. Sources close to the monarch suggest he is heartbroken by the distance, both geographical and emotional, that separates him from Archie and Lilibet. The children have reportedly met their grandfather only a handful of times, brief encounters that hardly constitute a meaningful relationship. Meanwhile, George, Charlotte, and Louis enjoy regular access to the king, building the bonds that will sustain the monarchy for generations to come. The custody implications of any potential Sussex divorce terrify palace strategists. If Harry pushes for a return to the United Kingdom while Meghan digs in her heels across the Atlantic, the children become the central battleground. Archie and Lilibet are American residents who have spent their formative years outside royal strictures, yet they remain constitutionally significant figures in the line of succession. Any custody arrangement would involve international jurisdictions, unprecedented legal complexities, and the constant threat of media exploitation. Harry's publicly stated wish for his children to experience British schooling only deepens the concern. The Duke has made clear he wants Archie and Lilibet to understand their heritage, to know the country their father called home, and to have relationships with their British relatives. Meghan's sources allege, views this as an impossibility. She has no intention of returning to a nation she believes treated her with racist hostility from the moment she arrived. The disagreement represents more than a parenting dispute. It exposes fundamentally incompatible visions of what the Sussex family should become. Harry, despite everything, remains tethered to his past. Meghan is determined to forge a future that looks nothing like it. And caught between these competing visions are two small children who deserve better than to become bargaining chips in their parents' Cold War. Whatever happens to Harry and Meghan's marriage, whatever unfolds during the 2026 royal visits, Archie and Lilibet will bear the consequences. They did not choose this life. They did not ask to be born into chaos. Yet chaos is all they have ever known. As 2026 draws closer, Harry and Meghan face a reckoning that no amount of Netflix specials or magazine covers can postpone. The royal family they rejected is preparing to celebrate on American soil, embraced by a president who despises them and cheered by a public that has largely moved on. The Sussexes have reached the point of no return, and the view from here is devastating. Every attempt at reconciliation has seemingly failed. Harry's heartfelt admission that he would love to reconnect with his family, his acknowledgement that there is no point in continuing to fight, his poignant reminder that he does not know how much longer his father has. None of it appears to have softened hearts at Buckingham Palace. Sources suggest King Charles is not responding to his younger son's calls or letters. The silence speaks louder than any public statement ever could. William's position has allegedly hardened into something approaching permanent estrangement. The brothers who once leaned on each other through their mother's death, through royal duties, through the pressures of public life, now exist as strangers. When William celebrates American independence next July, he will do so without sparing a thought for the brother watching from a California mansion just hours away. The bond is broken. Insiders suggest it may never be repaired. Meghan's carefully constructed empire shows cracks everywhere observers look. Her Netflix shows draw brutal reviews. Her magazine features spark mockery rather than admiration. Her lifestyle brand, despite claims of products selling out, has failed to establish her as the mogul she clearly believes herself to be. The $100 million dreams of 2020 have shrunk into first-look deals and holiday specials cobbled together from year-old footage. And then there is the marriage itself. Palace sources allegedly preparing divorce contingency plans, whispers of a dangerous schism over where to raise the children, reports of Harry feeling isolated and homesick while Meghan forges ahead with her American ambitions. The couple who once seemed so united in their defiance of royal tradition now appear to be pulling in opposite directions, held together perhaps only by the knowledge that separation would vindicate every critic who predicted their fairy tale would end in disaster. The 2026 royal visits will serve as a brutal reminder of everything the Sussexes have lost: status, family, relevance. While King Charles toasts with President Trump, while William and Kate charm American dignitaries, while George, Charlotte, and Louis experience their first taste of the country their uncle now calls home, Harry and Meghan will be nowhere to be found. Uninvited, unwelcome, unnecessary. They gambled everything on a California dream that promised freedom and fortune. Instead, they find themselves trapped in a gilded cage of their own making, watching through the bars as the family they abandoned celebrates without them. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think Harry will ever return to royal life, or has he burned every bridge beyond repair? Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you will not believe what is coming next.